Yeah, I think if it's not already happening in your workplace, what needs to happen now is that leaders need to understand they can't just point to HR or some other department and say, oh, you've got that, I don't need to think about it. This is so about your culture, it's so about your organization. Leaders need to fully understand and be demonstrating all of the skills I've just mentioned, so that they are role models for that culture, so that they're living and breathing that in their organization. They need to understand that as a senior leader, they are, like, in some sense, the greatest asset you have for your culture because they are that role model, but they are also the greatest risk. They
Yeah.
hold more power than anyone else in the organization. They are less likely to be given feedback by anybody else because of that power dynamic. If there is an issue involving a senior leader, the damage on your reputation is going to be so much more. So leaders need to understand their kind of unique position as well as the general understanding of those skills. And I think a really key thing is leaders also need to understand that when it comes to other senior leaders, they as a peer group should be giving each other feedback. Like, it really needs to come from a fellow senior leader. So they should be managing themselves and not expecting to outsource that responsibility to anybody else.
Yeah, and that's really important. And I think managers are often, so that middle layer of managers are often another layer that is kind of almost left out of some of these conversations. We do a lot of work at JourneyHR with middle level managers who have become managers because they are brilliant at their craft. But you
Yes.
don't wake up a brilliant manager. You don't wake up with all the skills in the toolbox that you need. So what should a confident manager actually say or do in the moment?
I think that manager response, I think managers are being asked to hold more and more complexity when it comes to interpersonal dynamics. There's so many issues that they're effectively likely to be first or second responder to, and managing something in a team. So I think it is so important that they
Did you invite
feel.
us to
Sorry.
sexual harassment seminar?
Sorry, we just had someone with their mic on there. If you could just pop your mic off for us, that would be great. Thanks. Sorry, Nina.
That's all right. So it's really important that they can feel confident with this topic area, that this is something that they feel that they can hold. And take it from me, 20 years doing this work, this is not a topic area that people automatically feel comfortable with, that people know it's high risk. There are lots of emotions involved. And so we are asking quite a lot of our managers, which is okay, but we need to support them to do that. And like, the ideal is, like, for me, our ideal isn't always report it and escalate it. The ideal is that if somebody can have a conversation in the moment, if the manager is able to hold the moment and have a conversation immediately, that can stop situations from escalating beyond the point that was necessary. So making sure that they're equipped so that they can do that. And also understanding if a manager does get this wrong, then that might be, particularly the kind of thing that you as an organization are held up for, if a case just does escalate, because that manager response needs to be appropriate. So giving people the skills, making it so that they can hear a disclosure and hear it in a skillful way, that they're able to give feedback to somebody who is perhaps very defensive, and a bit upset that they've been accused of something like that because they didn't mean to cause harm. Like, having those kinds of skills is really important.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the managers that we work with are so worried about saying the wrong thing or not activating the right channels to support an employee that has come forwards. But I would encourage that you have a good 3 months. So if people are concerned that their managers aren't trained in the right way or don't know how to act, or that you feel you've not put the right support measures in place for your business, you still have time to put a really robust plan of action in place, and Journey and obviously the Consent Collective can support with that. Nina, Lydia spoke a bit about the third party harassments. Are there any additional risks that they could create?
Yeah, there's definitely additional risk. I think it's a good example of why you need these skills in place and why managers also need to be equipped, because including thinking about all of the skills people want. We need to start empowering people who are on the receiving end of harassment. We can't just say report it. We need to help people feel what their options are in the moment. What might they say? How might they reestablish professional boundaries? Who might be a support resource to them in the moment, so that people don't think, I don't know what to do, I'm supposed to report it, but who do I do that to? Like, we need to give people more options. So that part of the training too. And also the manager response, especially if you're in a fast moving working environment. So say you're in hospitality or something, you need managers to be responding swiftly, immediately, and dealing with the situation, because these situations can be fast moving. So yeah, I think the third party just escalates the need to have these skills in place. And actually, one of the things I'm seeing as well, one of the, if you like, advantages of third party is that sometimes there can be some internal resistance to doing this kind of work. Maybe people feel that they don't have a problem internally. But when we're invited to recognize there is third party risk, most organizations can get on board with that we need to protect people from the public, our clients, like these kinds of things. So it can reinvigorate an important conversation.